So here we go again, and I want you to pay close attention to what's unfolding in the WNBA right now, because what we're witnessing is far more than just a matchup between two basketball teams. It's a collision of narratives, of legacies being rewritten in real time, of pressure mounting on the shoulders of a generational player in Caitlin Clark as her Indiana Fever prepare to walk into the Lions' Den to face the reigning champions, the Las Vegas Aces. And while on the surface it's just another game on the calendar, when you peel back the curtain, what you see is something entirely different, something deeper, more volatile, more emotional, more layered. Because this isn't just about basketball, it's about how a team picks itself up when its leader vanishes, about how one young woman carries not only a franchise but an entire league's future in her hands. And to fully grasp what's at stake, you've got to understand the context, the backdrop, the internal chaos within the Fever organization as they head into this brutal road trip, not just undermanned but underled, without head coach Stephanie White, who has taken a sudden and unexpected leave from the team to deal with a deeply personal matter, a situation that remains shrouded in silence as no timeline has been confirmed for her return. And yet, the timing couldn't be more fragile, more inconvenient, because White isn't just any coach. She's the architect of this team's slow rebuild, the person who's trying to forge a foundation of consistency in a franchise that's long been searching for identity. And just as things were beginning to click, just as the pieces were beginning to align, she steps away. And the void left behind is massive, not just tactically but emotionally. And into that void steps assistant coach Austin Kelly, a man with deep ties to White, dating back to their days at Vanderbilt and more recently with the Connecticut Sun. And it's this long-standing relationship that's now being called upon to maintain continuity, to preserve the locker room chemistry, to ensure that the team doesn't splinter or lose momentum in the absence of its main voice. And to his credit, Kelly has remained stoic, steady, calm in the face of this unexpected responsibility, stepping up as acting head coach during the Fever's recent 88-77 loss to the Golden State Valkyries, where he emphasized that despite White's absence, the messaging and identity of the team remain unchanged, that they are an extension of each other, that the core principles of defense-first basketball, of trusting one another, of playing for the teammate beside you are still intact, still alive, still pulsing through the veins of the team. But saying that and doing that are two very different things because there's no denying that White's absence casts a shadow over this five-game road trip, especially heading into a hostile arena in Las Vegas against an Aces team that smells blood and would love nothing more than to deliver a statement win against the most talked-about player in the league. Because let's be honest, every team in the WNBA this season has circled their calendar when Caitlin Clark comes to town. Because she's not just a rookie, not just a basketball prodigy, she's a cultural phenomenon, a media magnet, a human ratings machine who's revolutionizing the sport before our eyes, bringing in new fans, selling out arenas, shifting the conversation around women's basketball. And the irony is that while she's lifted the league, she's also become a target, not just for defenders on the court, but for critics off of it, for coaches, analysts, fans, former players, all dissecting every move she makes, every facial expression, every turnover, every missed shot. Because when you shine that bright, the shadows that trail you grow just as large, and in the eye of that storm stands Caitlin Clark, averaging 21.3 points, 5.5 rebounds, and 8.7 assists through her first 6 games this season. Numbers that don't just validate the hype, they escalated. And the deeper you dig into those stats, the more you realize this isn't just about scoring. This is about vision, control, basketball IQ that's off the charts, and an uncanny ability to elevate everyone around her. And yet, as the Fever try to navigate this treacherous road stretch, what becomes painfully clear is that Clark, for all her brilliance, can't do it alone. Not when the rotations are in flux, not when minutes are being tightly managed, not when the team is being run by an interim coach trying to keep everything afloat. And Kelly knows this, which is why he's emphasizing recovery, treatment, careful substitution patterns, and frankly, just surviving these next few games because the schedule is relentless. Vegas, Seattle, then back to LA and Dallas. And without White, and with the pressure mounting, these aren't just basketball games, they're gut checks, cultural tests, and emotional crucibles. And for Clark, the stakes couldn't be higher, because no matter what happens, the cameras will find her, the headlines will focus on her, And every team in the league is now adjusting their scouting report to focus not just on slowing her down, but on suffocating the rhythm she creates for the rest of her team. And perhaps the most insightful commentary on that strategy came from none other than Dawn Staley, the South Carolina coaching legend who joined the podcast Not Gonna Lie with Kylie Kelsey and offered a rare, brutally honest perspective on what it takes to defend Caitlin Clark and why she's so much more than just a shooter. Because yes, the deep threes are iconic, yes, the range is ridiculous, but what really terrifies coaches, what truly separates her, is her ability to pass, to see the game two steps ahead, to whip cross-court lasers or no-look dishes that unlock space and motion for her teammates. And Staley didn't hold back, calling Clark an anomaly, a player bringing unprecedented eyeballs to the game, a phenomenon that fans want to protect, praise, worship even, to the point where constructive criticism becomes a minefield. And yet as a coach, Staley made it clear. Her job is to critique, to prepare, to find the cracks in the armor, and the secret, she says, isn't necessarily to stop Clark from scoring because good luck with that, but to disrupt her ability to make others better, to isolate her brilliance and turn it into an island, to cut off her passing lanes, to pressure her supporting cast into disappearing acts. Because once you remove her synergy with the rest of the roster, you turn her into a solo act. And as mesmerizing as that act may be, it becomes beatable. And that's the strategic shift now echoing across the league. Don't just guard Clark, choke the system that revolves around her. And that right there is the kind of chess match the Aces are undoubtedly preparing for, as they look to exploit Indiana's vulnerability without their head coach, to apply relentless pressure, force turnovers, contest every passing angle, and dare the Fever to find other answers beyond Caitlin's wizardry. And if Indiana isn't careful, this could get out of hand fast because the Aces aren't just the defending champs. They're a dynasty in the making with championship DNA, home court swagger, and the kind of ruthless execution that punishes any lapse in focus. And the truth is, with every passing game, the microscope on Clark only intensifies, not just because of her stats, but because of what she represents. A future MVP candidate already, a marketing machine, a beacon for the next generation, but also a rookie who's now carrying the weight of expectations that no player, man or woman, has ever really faced at this stage. And it's exhausting, it's exhilarating, it's impossible to ignore. And yet she continues to rise to the occasion, brushing off hard fouls, biased narratives, defensive doubles, and just keeps hooping, keeps fighting, keeps dishing, keeps delivering. And that's what makes this Sunday matchup so compelling, because we don't just want to see how she plays, we want to see how she leads, how she responds when the odds are stacked against her, how she battles through adversity when the person who was supposed to guide her isn't there, and the firepower of the Aces meets the fragility of a Fever team in flux. And all eyes will be watching not just the final score, but the emotional temperature of the game, the resilience of the Fever, the next evolution in Clark's journey, because whether you love her or root against her, you're watching her.